to outside swing. On the third one, I'm going to grab the head of the mace and do It's a chilly day here today, so definitely a little bit more bundled up, but I still might take my shirt off later because it seems to kind of hinder the movement with the steel mace. I mean, hinder is a strong word, it just doesn't feel as smooth, which I guess is the same meaning of hinder. Oh well. So, today, at least when I was thinking about the workout, what I wanted to do was give an emphasis to side-to-side rotations. So I definitely do steel mace 360s and heavy club shield casts often, which is like a movement that requires rotation. So I do get a little bit of, I guess, uh, rotation in my day-to-day workouts, but I wanted to put or more emphasis today on like side to side, so more targeted movement where there's more side to side movement, or at least to a greater degree. So yeah, going to come up with kettlebell and steel mace and steel club complexes and movements that revolve around side to side or cross body rotation. And yeah, so for the first set of movements, I was doing steel mace, the steel mace, I guess, pattern, with which has somewhat of an emphasis on, or not an emphasis, which has a side rotation component to it. So double 360, single 360, opposite hand, and repeat. So that part where I'm grabbing with the opposite hand and going back into the 360 is the movement that has that cross body element to it. Doing this 5 times. On the 5th one, going to grab the head with the opposite hand and do a curl to shoulder press for 6, just adding some additional muscle groups into the movement. And now repeating all of this on the opposite side. And going to superset all of this with cross body swings with the kettlebell, or cross body low to high swings. So going to have 1 foot forward and as a result 1 foot back. Going to grab the kettlebell with both hands and just kind of get some momentum, and then do a low to high swing for 10. Switching sides. Lost my balance for whatever reason twice over there. In any case, this is what I'm doing. So having a rotational emphasis, and yeah, I'm going to do this for 5 sets and then on to the next thing. For the next set of movements, doing side to side swings with the steel club with a pullover on each side. So starting with my left hand overhand, I'm going to turn to one side and do a pullover, swing, pullover. I'm going to do that 5 times. Now I'm going to repeat it with the right hand overhand. Then with my 50-pound kettlebell, going to do cross body single arm swings. So I'm going to start with the kettlebell way over to one side so that I can generate momentum for the first rep. So, and then went for 10 on each side. So yeah, just supersetting these 2 movements. Lot of side to side swinging. Should get a lot of core recruitment. But yeah, I'm going to do this for 5 sets, then on to the next thing. It's starting to rain a little, but nothing too serious. In any case, for the next set of movements, using the steel mace for a steel mace complex, it's my 25-pound mace. So we're going to do 3 360s to outside swing. On the third one, I'm going to grab the head of the mace and do 6 shoulder presses. Switching sides. I'm going to repeat this sequence once again on both sides. After this, with my 106-pound kettlebell, going to do side-to-side deadlifts or cross-body deadlifts. So we're going to start with the kettlebell on one side, and I'm going to lift it to center. So, then place it on the opposite side. So yeah, doing these two movements is a superset for now. Probably one more set of movements after this. Here the outside swing is the component in the Mace that's a targeted rotational or cross-body movement, and then the cross-body deadlifts again is a cross-body movement that requires a lot of core activation. In any case, yeah, on to the next thing. Decided to end off with a kettlebell flow. So, going to start off with a simple flip, figure 8 snatch, a side bend. They call this a mill or something, I don't know. I'm just going to call it a side bend. Then a snatch, another side bend. Then repeat. So here, the figure 8 movement is a pretty figure 8 snatch is a cross-body movement, and the side bend is also in the same, I guess, family of exercises. But the figure 8 is a little bit more flowy, and the side bend is a more controlled movement. I'm going to do this 4 times on each side. So not supersetting this with anything. I was gonna do this for a bit. Just some final thoughts on the workout. So one of the things I was thinking about was like a lot of traditional thinking or training thinks about training in the form of, did I work on my chest, back, or by muscle group instead. And also a lot of people do push pull, but I think push pull is very limited, or limits the thinking to a certain degree. I think just there's a lot of different kinds of movements that the body is capable of. There's explosive movements, there's controlled movements, there's rotational movements, and rotational movements can be different kinds of controlled movements too. So like, I think the side bend is kind of a rotational movement, but it's a more controlled thing. But the figure eight snatch is an explosive movement that is rotational, and it doesn't fall, and in my opinion it doesn't fall in either the push or pull category. In any case, I think it's best to think of training in terms of movements. So there's many different movements that your body is capable of, and if you go without training any one kind of movement, no matter what it is, you end up getting weaker at it. So different kinds of movements can translate into other movements, but I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, you can't get good at, so although like you can say throwing a baseball and shooting a basketball are both throw movements, doing a lot of one doesn't necessarily mean you'll be good at the other. But it could probably, but doing one could probably preserve the ability of doing the other. So that's what I mean by different kinds of movements can translate into other movements. But in any case, what I'm trying to say is, thinking of training in terms of movements and movement types, I think is better, because the less you do a certain kind of movement, the more you end up losing the ability to do it over time. And instead of just like, you could train chest and back and all of that a lot, but if you don't throw or do any explosive kind of movement, doing explosive movements will end up hurting you probably, which is why not all big looking bodybuilders are the most athletic people, so on and so forth. In any case, that was just something that I was thinking about while working out, so I thought I'd share it. And yeah, that's all for today's video. I'm going to do a couple more sets of this flow, and yeah, tomorrow is Thanksgiving, so happy, or Thanksgiving in Canada, so happy Canadian Thanksgiving. Tomorrow means today when the video is coming out, but it's tomorrow for me. And yeah, see you all tomorrow.